Mind Maze. Apparently, some people really love this game, and I suppose I somewhat get it. Strategy factors in here with nearly every turn you take. It's easy to understand after only a few minutes of playing, and nothing's rushing you to make up your mind. The experience reminds me of the board game Othello to a solid degree, even though the scoring fundamental is starkly different. There's a nice amount of content to interact with, numerous difficulties, as well as the ability to take on multiple enemy AIs at once. Even with those good points though, there's still some significant things wrong here. Mostly, I'm forever verging on boredom when playing. Othello requires you to connect to something already played, but here you're given freedom to attack the grid however you please, which makes the early game painfully dull. Much better would it have been to have loads of spaces pre-filled before you start a level. Even once you get to the closing of boxes in large swaths, however, you're usually just looking for the least worst decision available to you, sometimes not taking the last few scoreable boxes in order to leave the AI in a bad spot. Because you and the computer are taking turns exchanging blows, you want to give them the smallest set of points before they're forced to give you a larger set. If you completely enclose a single square, you score, and your turn continues until you place a line which doesn't complete a square. So the early game is just making sure you're not placing a line that counts as a third for any squares, because then the computer would be able to score on that. Mid-game is where the strategy gets hairy, since you'll have to do a lot of forecasting both how to trap an enemy with 2 squares to complete, and making sure they don't have the ability to lowball you on your next turn. Late game is basic arithmetic, counting the remaining sets to be had so you can constantly stick the computer with the smallest number of boxes. Not only does this gameplay loop waffle between the chore-like states of mindlessness and that of tedious planning, but the controls here never feel fully intuitive. Dear developers, I'm already not exactly loving what I'm doing, but you've got me haphazardly sliding around the box edges, usually unsure of where the line's going to go when I press in a given direction. There's plenty that could have been done to improve the look and feel of what's on offer is what I'm getting at. Gladly, there's robust co-op in Mind Maze, and it's a pretty ideal title for actual humans making messes against one another in. AI programming is problematic since even the easy difficulty AI still tends to go balls to the wall when given an opening, able to move so fast and efficiently that you feel almost handicapped when it's your turn again. There are differences in the AI difficulties, and they do actually get tougher when you up their intelligence. But easy is still way too smart for that casual crowd that's most likely to choose an easy setting. Because there are tons of turns in each match and only a few of them really matter, I struggle to think very highly of the game, semi-unique and occasionally engaging though it is. The trophy chase has no written guide, but I'd call it a 4 on the difficulty scale that's easily going to take 6 hours for the world's fastest and most skilled players. Us normies are more likely looking at double that. And I'd make note of the fact that this plat's completion rate is deceptive. 38.2% of PSN users have completed it, while roughly 53% of PSN profile users have it. Those figures are fairly close to each other, and only 72 people on PSN profiles have the shiny. Basically, not many people have played this game. Most who have are trophy hunters. Many refuse to give up on getting it, while others likely realize the grind level was whack. There's probably some cheat I couldn't find, or users are running into trophies not wanting to pop, because the 2 AI on hard is more common than the 2 AI on normal, and the 1 AI on hard, which is all super sus. Oddly enough, it's the 2 AI on hard I had some trouble with an unlock registering for. I kept trying different stages after rebooting the game, and it eventually just popped. Some odd stuff going on beneath the hood here. Furthermore, that 50,000 points trophy is absurd. When you beat the campaign, you'll have roughly half of the required points. Replaying stages gives you about 1/10 of what it originally did, and playing Hot Seat doesn't give you any points. Also, difficulty level doesn't affect how many points you get, so you should be playing on easy, and will want to start playing the triplex stages after you've beaten basic, since these are all that still award worthwhile points. If you haven't unlocked the 150 captured cells in a stage trophy by the time you hit 50,000 points, stage 15 is a great place to chase it. 150-15 should stick in your memory very easily. You just need to make lots of long lines and leave the computer in a 2-cell trap when you begin running out of cells to close, since they'll always go for it on easy. May take a few tries, but it's not difficult. Nothing's missable here, it's just a time eater in the end. A note on the AI, by the way, it will never create an opening for you to close squares so long as there's still an open-ended maneuver left on the board. This is why the early game is so silly and sleep-inducing, as you can fill anything that leaves two sides open in all connected squares, and know that a trap isn't being laid which you should be looking out for. On the harder difficulties, it's usually who gets that final turn which matters most, so you may need to make a purposeful error to ensure you get the last move. And when you're up against 2 AI, setting the 2-cell trap can bite you in the ass, since one of the 2 AIs will end up getting loads of points. So just beat the main game on easy and you'll likely have most score-related trophies done naturally. Then jump into Hot Seat to beat the handful of AI games on varying difficulties demanded by the trophy list. This last part should be saved till last and may take numerous attempts, but it's really not bad. Whether or not I'd recommend the chase ultimately depends on the type of gamer you are. Never chase this if you want a fast plat. I could see chasing this though if you want one you can slowly work toward, or if you like having plats most people will give up on, regardless of the reason. In short, not a great game, but a solid trophy hunt for the patient types who enjoy the feel of knowing they're always making progress when playing. A few mental rules of thumb turn this title into a nothing burger, which anyone could beat while playing alone. So to the maze of my mind at least, this one's easy to live without. The real fun comes from playing with friends, since humans are much more difficult to predict than this game's AI, making the feel of the game more like chess when duking it out with actual people. And some of the level designs really do switch stuff up to create an interesting experience the further you go. The openly shared controllers of co-op drag things a bit, plus you can't remove players once they've been added without a hard restart. But co-op's a blast if your crowd is honest. Last note, you'll likely close the plat out around completion of level 21 in the triplex campaign. So that's 46 levels to beat, not counting the at least 3 you've got to play against the AIs in Hot Seat. Quite the slog, though somewhat enjoyable if you only play a few stages every day. My completion moved the plat trophy up 1/5 of a percentage point, meaning only 500 people on the PSN have played this game on PlayStation. Again, backing my opinion that this game's completion rate is misleading. The majority of folks won't be about this, but I wound up liking it more the deeper into it I dug. Memorably enjoyable, but too fraught with drawbacks to be something I'd call good.